Hi, what's good everyone, and welcome back to another video here on our YouTube channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at volume profiles and more specifically using VPVR to identify nice levels in price where we have basically just seen a tremendously high pressure in terms of volume, which can really allow for some nice additional confirmations when you're trading supply and demand. And I will be using this trade on GA, which I took this week and also talked quite a lot about in the Discord. It's basically a prime example to go over this type of theory. So as always, quite a bit to go through, but please stay tuned and I hope you enjoyed the video. Alright, to begin, the way you actually get this histogram or volume profile on your screen is that you can go here on indicators on TradingView, and there will already be a pre-built-in category here for volume profile where you'll have things like fixed range, session volume, and so forth. And some of these they basically allow you to specify the exact range where you want your histogram to be calculated from. So say from up here to down here, you only want this amount of data to be considered. But what I like to use is visible range, so VPVR, and what that basically means is that it just uses all of the data that is currently visible on your screen to then give you that price level that saw the highest amount of volume. So if I quickly just switch this on here, we can see that for all the data that I'm viewing here now from the left to the right, we can see that 1773.5 was the region that saw the most volume, and this red line here is called point of control, which basically just is the node that saw the highest amount of volume. So it's just very easily highlighted here using this indicator. And as you can see, as we move around here and add more data or remove data, this line will move. If I just keep zooming out, we can see now we're back up here, we're including this data. But if I say go down to only like here, we can see that this region right here saw the most volume. So it's adaptable in that sense. You have to be a little bit careful how you're using it. Like, you obviously want to be using fresh levels in price, recent blocks for example. So here we can identify, for example, a highly powerful block on gold, which we're coming into pretty shortly, and I will be observing that. It's already been shared on Discord as well, so I think quite a few are waiting for that one there. But that just gives you the idea of how it works. And the reason why this is so important is that when you're trading supply and demand, what it basically comes down to is you trying to basically trade as many strong, powerful blocks as possible. You're always going to have blocks that fail, that where price just pushes through or whatever, but using volume as an additional factor, you can really single out these blocks that are incredibly powerful. Because for example here, traditionally many just use and this is definitely enough, just using this horizontal volume here, because that tells you where the volume was on during the session. It tells you that during the time. But it's also beneficial to add this histogram here on the y-axis, because in addition to the time breakdown, you also have the actual price level breakdown, which honestly just can add even more confluences to the blocks that you're identifying. And yeah, it's really what it's about. So if we quickly just check back on this trade here, there's just an incredible amount of confluencing factors to take in this short. And I mean, if I just open Discord here already, we can see that we actually started off the week up here at this daily block, and I took my first sell from there already, and we had a nice DBD as well to take an additional sell. From there we hit this 1 hour demand block. It came back to the upside, so really getting that sort of ping pong motion between the zones, which is exactly what you like to see. But then we came into a very nice 15-minute block here around the institutional number 1.89. If that's part of the theory you still feel like you need to brush off on, it's covered well in the book. And I think that the reason institutional numbers work as well as they do is just because 1.89 for example is a lot easier to say than say 1.8913. It's just the ease of use really and convenience. So we had that institutional number, price came above just above the baseline, just rejected nicely there, and from there on really rest is just history. I had my first set of partials there at 1.883, which was around 65 to 70 pips or whatever, 75% taken off there, and the rest just running to the major low right there. But if we actually take a look at this together with the VPVR now, we can see here that now we're obviously including the actual data that came from this trade. So we can see here that 8852 was indeed a very strong point even after this move. But if we actually go back, which is what you're going to be doing before you actually take your trade, you won't have this data beforehand, but we can quickly just remove that and still see that this 888, like 889 region or whatever is very powerful, because we still haven't even seen this move happen yet. But you still had this point of control line going on here even before the trade setup actually occurred. And it's really nice to also sort of single out the sort of stronger parts of the block as well, because in reality this whole thing could technically be a block as well, right? This is indecision on higher time frame, but knowing that our point of control line is slightly lower, I even went as far down to the 15-minute time frame to take my indecision, knowing that 889 what was I mean, coming up into this block we would have already covered that 889 VPVR line. So coming up into that institutional number as well, it was just a prime short opportunity really, and there's no more that can really be said about that. Absolutely beautiful, yeah. And yeah, saw that breakthrough there, and yeah, that was the rest of that really. But that's VPVR, just an incredibly great addition to the horizontal volume that we already have. But there really isn't too much more to that than that. You can do your own research on that as well, but I will probably be posting a lot more videos of future examples and so forth in the actual Discord for more learning examples. But this is volume profile in a nutshell really, and I hope you got something out of this video, and please make sure to like it and leave a comment for future suggestions, and I wish all of you a great continued week ahead.